All right, so after the three G's, we're on to AIM 11.2. What civilizations existed in the Americas prior to the Europeans' arrival, and what were their characteristics? And we just shared out some responses to the do now question, so away we go. Okay, I'm not going to pause here because there's just one sentence here, but I think a lot of people know this story already. But when we talk about how did human beings get to the Americas to begin with, because it is kind of disconnected, right, from the rest of the world, Europe, Asia, Africa, all those places are kind of connected to each other, right? So it makes sense how people can migrate. But the Americas are a tricky one. So for those of you that are not aware, this space here between Russia and Alaska is called the Bering Strait. And many, many moons ago, when there was an ice age, thousands upon thousands of years ago, there was an ice age. And the sea levels were much lower at the time. And it exposed a land bridge between Russia and Alaska. And more than likely, Asian nomadic, people of Asia, we're talking Paleolithic people, probably were chasing food sources across this land bridge, and that brought them into North America. Once you get to Alaska, the Americas are connected all the way from the very, very top of Canada and the North Pole all the way to the bottom of Argentina. So all that stuff's connected. So the land bridge beneath the Bering Strait is the most likely explanation as to how people got here to begin with. Eventually, that ice age is going to end, sea levels are going to rise, and it's going to submerge that land bridge, creating the Bering Strait. And we know from in the earliest pre-unit, that a strait is a strip of water that connects to larger bodies of water. So you can see the Bering Sea here and the Northern Sea here, connected by the Bering Strait. All right, I'll give you a second here. All right, so some interesting things to note. The first thing that we probably overlook when we take the notes on this slide is that look at the time that the Mayan civilization existed. 1500 BCE to 1546 AD. Okay, so this is 3,000 years. All right, so when we talk about longevity, it's important to kind of recognize this. The Maya are this long lasting for a number of reasons. They don't really have any natural kind of enemies or opponents, and there's not really too many other civilizations that are even remotely as big that are anywhere near them. So this kind of cultural isolation, if you will, makes them kind of the only game in town. So that isolation leads to their, three millennia of, era of dominance. It's really unbelievable. And this is going to be mostly Central America, so Guatemala, Mexico. And they're going to be famous for a number of things: writing systems, art, math, science. I don't know if you remember, but it was the Mayan calendar that was supposed to end in 2012, and they said that was going to be the end of the world. I guess they had that wrong, but they created super duper accurate calendars way before others did, and that's an important thing. So when we're talking about what are they doing that no one else is doing at the time, calendar is certainly one of them. Then we have Aztec and Inca. Aztec kind of took over the Maya. I know that the year for the Maya is later than the year for the Aztec, but as far as the height of the civilization, the Maya kind of fall off after a while, and the Aztec kind of crop up in their place. And this is a lot of the same territory. Some overlap: Mexico, Belize, Honduras. They're famous for militarism and human sacrifice. In normal circumstances, we do an in-depth look at this human sacrifice piece, spend a day on it or so. But virtually it's kind of tough. So it's just kind of worth mentioning. And then last but not least is Inca. Inca is in present-day Chile, Peru, and Argentina. So this is South America. So these first two, the Maya and the Aztec, are right around the same area, the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, that kind of sticks out into the Caribbean. You'll see maps of it. And the Inca are kind of way, way down in South America in the Andes Mountains. And the Inca are famous for roads and terrace farming. Terrace farming is the picture that you see here on the slide. Terrace farming is a way to perform agriculture in the mountains. It's very, very hard to plant crops in the mountains. So this system of terracing the terrain to make it suitable for agriculture is called terrace farming. We only really see this prominently in two places in the world. This is one of them, the Inca, and the other one is ancient China. They use terrace farming also, but these are evidence of these people kind of adapting their geography to kind of suit them. And this is something that only one other civilization in the entire world is doing, and they don't have any contact with each other. So as far as doing things that others are doing and kind of innovating, this certainly classifies. And then road systems. If you're going to build a large empire in the mountains, you need to be able to travel efficiently, and the road systems certainly do serve that need. So Maya, Aztec, Inca, you can see the time periods, you see the geography as far as where they're located, and we're really going to kind of take a closer look at some of the achievements.